1, 2. I think that's done it. And just making sure that I've got enough audio gain there for this. Bring that up a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we do now have audio, but it might be just a little bit on the soft side. If I can just get to.
Yes, it's working, Clint.
Oh, what was that?
It's working.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to increase the gain a bit though. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yep, that looks like it's cool. 15 dB of gain there, according to that. Alright, what time is it now? It's almost 6 minutes past the hour, and we have that sorted out. In fact, that might be too much audio there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Bring that down a bit. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yep. Hello, hello. Still too much. Hello, 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 hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still clipping in the red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Yep, that's better. Now, because the microphone, I'm using the internal microphone in the camera, so it's about, I don't know, 18 inches away from me. So I'm a little bit off the microphone, but it should be being picked up pretty well. Thank you, Martin. I'm trying to do things in this shack, you know, and it's dismantling things here and dismantling things there, and because we're not broadcasting on Melbourne television repeater, VK3RTV is still off air at the moment, so that plays a crucial part in what I do on a Friday night, and that's I've been mucking around with the station because the repeater hasn't been on air, and I've been fiddling with another transmitter downstairs, and I needed the mixer for that. I didn't think it was going to be a problem, but there it is. Anyway, we got it sorted. So back to scratch. Oh dear. Thank you everybody for hanging in there for just that short moment or two. We're not broadcasting on 160 tonight because the ICOM has failed. The HF1 transmitter has a fault in it. I haven't been able to locate the problem yet, so anyway, there it is. So we're using these other ICOM box Pro 3 on 3541, the prime frequency, which has been since God knows when, 1988 I think. Anyway, I'll read this usual blurb out. I haven't said this the last couple of Fridays, so I guess I better catch up on this. On these little details. Let me just go to that. Yep. The Astronomical Society of Victoria, of which this broadcasted is behalf of. A very pleasant good evening to any members of the Astronomical Society that may be listening. Was founded in 1922, and we're celebrating, of course, its anniversary this year. Still celebrating it in one degree or another, and it comprises over 1,600 members scattered throughout Victoria and around Australia and overseas. Membership of the Society is open to all persons with an interest in astronomy. The Society's objectives are to encourage the study and practice of astronomy and to disseminate the knowledge of the science and to provide greater facilities for the study among its members. Monthly meetings are usually held on the second Wednesday of each month, except in January, the latter being held on a Saturday night. Meetings start at 8 p.m. in the Mulia Hall, National Herbarium, Burwood Avenue, Melbourne, near the Melbourne Observatory, which is located not too far from the Shrine of Remembrance. Parking is available in Burwood Avenue, Dallas Brooks Drive and surrounding streets. Admission is free and visitors are most welcome. Privileges of membership include the right to borrow books, periodicals and other publications from the Society's extensive library located at the Melbourne Observatory. Receipt of the ASV magazine Crux, which contains articles, news, observing notes and the like, and the free provision of the Astronomical Yearbook. Access is available to telescopes on members' nights held regularly at the Melbourne Observatory. and after the monthly meetings, weather permitting. These instruments include the Society's 300mm equatorial reflector, and there's also a 300mm portable reflector. There's also a 200mm refractor, which is managed by the Royal Botanic Gardens, and a recently restored photoheliograph are also housed at the observatory and are accessible to members as well. The Society is also has a number of 200mm reflectors available for short period loan to members, so that they can try before you buy sort of a concept. Members are also encouraged to make use of the Society's country property located just north of Heathcote, about 90-minute drive north of Melbourne, 2.5 if you live out here at Narre Warren. There are a range of instruments available for members to use there, the larger two only with appropriate training. And these instruments range from 300mm to 1000mm in aperture. Also located on site is an 8.5 metre fully steerable radio telescope, which members can access with involvement in the radio astronomy section. Members are encouraged to make and use telescopes. Advice and help on both matters are provided willingly to newcomers desiring to do the same. Instrument making is only one of the number of common interest activities catered for within the Society. There are actually 20 sections that make up the various activity groups within the Society, and these are the in alphabetical order, the astrophotography section, Bendigo section, club section, comet section, computing section, cosmology and astrophysics, deep sky, demonstrators section. Each time I read that demonstrator section, I could just imagine the group convening together to make placards and posters and go out and protest on the streets of Melbourne saying, "Look up at the sky." My imagination, sorry. Demonstrators section, because that's actually to do with people, volunteers doing telescope nights. They go out to the middle of dark parks in the city and set up telescopes for the public to look through and demonstrate astronomy through telescopes. So it's usually a bunch of volunteers that do that. At least I think that's what they do. Diurnals, which meets on a Tuesday morning. The Great Melbourne Telescope section, which has been going great guns with the Great Melbourne Telescope, and they're still doing great guns. The Historical section. The Instrument Making Group, Juniors, Lunar and Planetary, Meteor section, New Astronomers Group, Outdoor Lighting Improvement Group, and Radio Astronomy, which I've been personally involved with since 1993. I was section director for 12 years. Phil Costigan is the new section director. He may be or maybe not be listening, I don't know. But anyway, radio astronomy is doing great things. Solar and, of course, space exploration. And Kate Green is looking after space exploration, and she's doing a great job with the on Facebook. She's regularly putting out all the news on the latest things happening with space exploration. She's been quite good with that. Anyway, so if any of those sections sound of any value to you, it sounds like you might be interested in coming along to, get in contact with the section director for those groups, and they'll invite you to either a Zoom meeting or an actual in-face meeting first time. Usually first time visitors are welcome to pop into a meeting, and of course if you find it interesting, then you can carry on from there. Membership of the Society is done by the homepage of the website. There's a link to the membership page from the homepage, and it's all via PayPal these days, so it's fairly easy peasy. Within about a week or so you get a members pack, which tells you all about the Society and the rules and everything else like that, and your membership card and things like that. So yeah, that can be all found from the homepage. Apart from all that, if you want to write a letter to the ASV. It's to the Secretary of the Astronomical Society of Victoria, GPO Box 1059, Melbourne, Victoria 3001, if you wish to write a letter. But like I say, the website's just as good for contacting the President and Vice President and all the others there. All their contact details are on the website, including the Secretary. And that can all be found on www.asv.org.au, www.asv.org.au, and all will be revealed. Also, the last comment here too is please note that the ASV will conform to all government and health directives, as it has been over the last couple of years. ASV events may be required to be cancelled, moved or postponed. Usually that's pretty much because of weather. Being astronomy, the weather plays an important part as to whether you can see the stars or not. Alright, we have an email address. If you wish to send us an email tonight on the signal quality and report and whatever else, vk3ekh@gmail.com, vk3ekh@gmail.com for anything related to the station here. We also have a chat window that's running. I forgot to mention that 10 minutes ago. But we do have a Discord. It's called a Discord chat window, which can be found via the ASV website under the Radio Astronomy tab at the top of the screen. When you open up the home page of ASV, you've got a tab at the top, Home, About Us, Melbourne Observatory, sections, News, Events, Astronomy Gallery, Radio Astronomy Login. So under the Radio Astronomy tab, you'll find the link to the ASV radio broadcast, and all will be revealed through the link there. So we've already got a few folks there on the chat window. G'day to Martin, VK7JAH, Richard, VK3VRS, Martin, VK7JAH, I've already mentioned Martin, and Kim, VK5FUSE. And my phone keeps telling me this message is coming through, which is a nuisance factor. Alright, so, and g'day to Remus. I think Remus is there too. G'day Remus, if you're there. Where am I? Yep. G'day Remus. He's watching, no doubt, as well. If I hadn't have got the audio sorted out, you would have been just watching me flap my gums and no sound at all. So you're very lucky to have any kind of audio there tonight. Oh, goodness gracious me. And Kieran. G'day Kieran. Mr. BTV has just joined the chat room. Oh, cheers mate. Have another coffee. Oh, that's it. Absolutely great. Now, mumble. All right. Now, for those folks that are living around Australia that are listening to the broadcast tonight, just in case you didn't know, I'll just run through a bunch of societies that are located in your state. I rarely do this, but I'll just run it through again. In Victoria, you've got the Mornington Peninsula Astronomical Society down there on the peninsula. Where else would it be? Mount Burnett Observatory up in the hills, 20 minutes away from here. Ballarat Astronomical Society. The Bendigo District Astronomical Society, although they've now merged with the ASV. That's why it's called the Bendigo section. The Latrobe Valley Astronomical Society. The Astronomical Society of Geelong. Astronomical Society of Albury-Wodonga. In New South Wales, you have Western Sydney Amateur Astronomical Group, the Astronomical Society of New South Wales, North Sydney Astronomical Society, Illawarra Astronomical Society, the Newcastle Astronomical Society, the Sutherland Astronomical Society. In the Canberra region, ACT, you've got Canberra Astronomical Society, of course. In Western Australia, it's the Astronomical Society of Western Australia. In good old Tas, you've got the Astronomical Society of Tasmania. In Queensland, you've got Southeastern Queensland Astronomical Society, Southern Astronomical Society, Brisbane Astronomical Society, and the Astronomical Society of Queensland. So they're well and truly covered. Yes, so there they are. So, if you have an interest in astronomy and always wanted to learn how to use a telescope, and get a bit of an idea of what you're looking at in the sky and where to look, these societies have friendly folks, and in most cases, and you can get all the information you need from those blokes, people, groups. All right. You're tuned to ASV Radio, broadcasting only on 3541 kilohertz tonight, the prime frequency. There's no 160 metre transmission. I still haven't quite got that sorted out yet, so no 160 simulcast. And of course the email address. Oh, there's a bunch of emails that have come through. Look at that. G'day to Andrew, VK3KIS. He's checking in there, listening on, speaking across the microphone here. Your perseverance is inspiring. Oh, thanks, Andrew. There's Don Baby. He says, hi, Clint, good signal on 80 tonight, 509 plus 40. Really? Sounds good. Pictures are good. Look forward to the broadcast. Yep, no worries, Mr. Don. We also have an email from Mr. Costigan. Looking good, Clint. Receiver Gavin decided to swing across to you, and so you're all up there, are you? Right. Oh, thank goodness I got the audio sorted out. And this Monday night, I'm aware of that. Thanks, Phil. Yes, there's a radio astronomy section meeting this Monday, which will be the first meeting in Melbourne. For all these years, they used to be held at a little place in Parra Street in Burwood, and it's now no longer the case. So the new digs, so to speak, is a room. I have no idea where it is, but it's a room somewhere associated with the Melbourne Observatory. I know where the library is. If I can get an idea of where the room is in relation to the library, I'll be right. But I might come in because it's the first meeting at the first room at the Melbourne Observatory. I plan to come in for that. Hopefully I will be able to make it. I go back to full-time work on this week, Monday to Friday, so my body clock needs to be seriously adjusted because of that. That's enough of that. Anyway, g'day to Andrew. Pic of Jupiter. He's got a pic of Jupiter there he's taken from his telescope. I'll see if I can get a hold of that later. And Mr. Graham Lewis, he's also some. What was that?
Your stream has dropped out.
Apparently my internet's fallen over, so that is expected. Oh no, my stream's still going. According to me, the stream's still running.
I need to come back. It's alright. I just refreshed.
No more problems, please. Not tonight.
No, it actually has dropped out. Sorry, mate.
No, according to this, it's still connected.
I've just got the circle of death.
It's the circle of death. Let me just check here. I'll just refresh the screen here and see if I can bring up anything. I can see it here, Richard. It's only actually a few seconds delay, actually. Let me hold up this again. All right, and let me see how many seconds that's going to take before it comes up on the YouTube stream here. Should be it's about 10 seconds now. I held up a piece of paper in front of the camera just a moment ago, and I should be about to do that. It's about 15 seconds now, so coming up to 20 seconds. Yeah, so no, that's the usual delay, about 15-20 seconds on YouTube. All right, let's keep on moving here. Now the stream is good as far as I can see, and g'day to everybody up there at the Dark Sky site. Howdy Gavin, and if there's anybody else in the room there as well. All right, let's get into this. All right, I had a few dates to get rid of. Firstly, where are we? The 17th of February. We'll kick it off from the 17th of February. On the 17th of February, 1965, Ranger 8 space probe launched to the moon to image the moon in aid of Apollo landings. On the 18th of February 1930, Clyde Tombaugh, I think that's how you pronounce it, Tombaugh, Clyde Tombaugh, USA, discovers Pluto using a blink comparator in a systematic search for the proposed planet X beyond Neptune. I think I read this out last week. On the 20th of February 1962, yeah, I think I did. Anyway, on the 20th of February 1962, first American astronaut in orbit, John Glenn, in Mercury Friendship 7 in 3 orbits lasting almost 5 hours. On the 22nd of February 1632, Galileo publishes a dialogue concerning the two chief world systems, which compared solar system models and led to the conflict and censure by the Catholic Church. On the 23rd of February 1987, SN 1987A, the closest and brightest supernova since 1054, observed in the Large Magellanic Cloud, 168,000 light years away, visible to naked eye for months. I wish another one would occur. On the 24th of February 1968, postgraduate student Jocelyn Bell discovers the first pulsar. Bless her heart. On the 26th of February 1966, the first Saturn 1B rocket launch, which led to Saturn V Apollo missions. On the 27th of February 1942, J.S. Hay, UK, discovered radio emissions coming from the Sun. And finally, on the 28th of February 1997, the first evidence for gamma ray bursts, GRB, as extragalactic energy sources. So that finishes the little notes there for February. Thank you to Tanya Hill, who compiles all the Sky Notes. So we're looking forward to the next month. Alright, you're tuned to ASV Radio, VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, the official station for the broadcast for the Astronomical Society of Victoria. And we're broadcasting everywhere tonight. Yeah, let's just say that. Okay. Now, just a little bit on the kind of things associated with observing the sky through the telescope. In this article, it's called Bad Seeing, the 5 stages of astro-coping. C-O-P-I-N-G, coping, how to cope with bad seeing. It's one of those optical astronomers' frustrations. You might experience these emotions when trying to observe through turbulent atmosphere. Here's how not to deal with it. February 16th, 2023. In 1969, Elizabeth Kerber-Ross introduced her 5 stages of grief experienced by people who are facing life tragedies. But those 5 now famous stages, denial, anger, bargaining, depression and acceptance, have been overlooked by backyard astronomers. Say you're an observer in a typical suburban location and you've spent a small fortune on a telescope that looks so cool you gaze at it like it's a Rembrandt. Tonight you've invited over an old friend you'd like to impress. You've heard she owns some mountaintop acreage and you fantasize she'll let you build an observatory there. So you aim your telescope at Saturn, arguably the universe's greatest crowd pleaser. But to your horror, it's not there. In its place is a wiggly smudge that resembles an amoeba or that's on amphetamines or something along those lines. So you're tempted to explain that the problem is called bad seeing, but you're too bummed to form coherent sentences. As you sense your mountaintop observatory is slowly slipping away, you're overwhelmed with grief at the loss of your dreams. So perhaps Kerber-Ross can come to the rescue. You mentally scroll through her list and remember her first item, denial. It's worth a try. Nothing's wrong with Saturn, you explain as your friend squints through the eyepiece. Instead, Earth's atmosphere is emanating it through the gift of turbulence. The same helpful gaseous motion that makes you puke on a jetliner. After all, if Saturn were motionless, it might seem lifeless and sterile. But at a glance at your unimpressed visitor suggests you try something else. Bad seeing is actually a venerable astronomy tradition, you say with a touch of pride. When Galileo had conditions like this in 1610, it made him sketch Saturn as a ball that had two handles attached, and illustrations that have been prized for centuries. See if you can visualize the planet the way he did, as a sugar bowl. A sugar bowl, question mark? Yes, and we could even see even more history-making sights if I had an observatory on a mountaintop somewhere. A subtle hint it was. But you're not succeeding, and it's making you irritated. Anger, you suddenly realize, is next on the list of stages that must be the key. So anyway, this sucks, you loudly bellow, making your companion leap backward. Creatively, you decide to channel that Kubler-Ross-approved rage towards your next-door neighbour, who just installed security floodlights brighter than the prison watchtowers. You grab your phone and leave him a message citing legal property rights, the Dark Sky Association Italian phrases you think sound intimidating, but the later realise are just a cookbook expressions like al dente, whatever that is. So, forget that. You turn to the next page, bargaining. Okay, but with whom, you may think. Well, you've not been to church in years, and anyway, you don't have anything valuable to offer for the Creator in exchange for a steady atmosphere. So you settle on bargaining with a used telescope website. You dial their number, and then someone answers. You start haggling, knowing small apertures are better in turbulence. I'll trade you my 6-inch Dob for this 2-inch handheld telescoping spyscope you offer. But wait, if you end up with just a tiny instrument, why would your friend give you land for an observatory? Well, never mind, you shout into the phone, ending the exchange with a confused after-hours janitor who'd assumed that by Dob you'd be trying to give him your Doberman pincher. And now you're down to the penultimate grief assuring strategy, depression. As you fall into a deep malaise, you suddenly realize that astronomers have known for 413 years. Wiggly, depression-inducing seeing is so widespread you have no choice in the matter. A smile creeps across your face, the expression common to observers through the centuries. Finally, you know its name and cause, and it's called acceptance. Right. Well, I'm still in the process of setting up my optical observatory here, so I have no idea what the 5 stages are of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. I'll take their word for it, but I think I've got a bit of an idea. You're tuned to ASV Radio, VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, coming to you from the studios of VK3CSJ in Narre Warren South. Oh, I better go back to my inbox so I can see if there's any new emails coming through. Ellery Sweet. I don't know where the Ellery Sweet is. Is it got a name tag on it, so I know where it is? Alright, here's the next article, and I think I've finished my... Oh no, I haven't. Here we are. I'll finish this coffee. Take note of my cup of coffee. It's straight from the Arecibo telescope canteen. Not that I've been there, but that's that's my bit of memoir for the Arecibo radio telescope. Seeing on the visions there. All right, yet another Russian capsule is leaking, and it's delaying the cosmonauts' trip home. No, I won't say anything. Anyway, this is 17th of February 2023, this article by Matt Williams of the Universe Today. Roscosmos, or was it Roscosmos, appears to be having some issues with a space... Oh, I've got a picture of this too. Let me bring up the picture. This is a picture... where are we? There it is. We're back again. All right. Wouldn't it bother you? Where's my article? Okay, so yeah, on the screen right now on YouTube is the picture of the Soyuz MS-22 spacecraft, which they're having leaks, apparently. In December, the Soyuz MS-22 spacecraft that delivered 3 crew members of Expedition 68 to the International Space Station reported a leak in its coolant loop. On February 11, engineers at the Russian Mission Control Center outside Moscow recorded a depressurization in Progress 82, an uncrewed cargo craft docked with the Paisk laboratory module. The cause of these leaks remains unknown, but Roscosmos engineers, with support from their NASA counterparts, will continue investigating. The incident was noticed on Saturday, February 11, when another uncrewed cargo craft, Progress 83, docked with the aft end of the Divezera service module, like Progress 82. This spacecraft was delivering almost 3 tons of food, fuel and supplies for the Expedition 68 crew. Meanwhile, Progress 82 Meanwhile, Progress 82 was loaded with garbage and is scheduled to undock from the station in February 17, followed by a deorbit over the Pacific Ocean. The crew was promptly informed of the leak, and it was determined that it posed no threat to them. NASA specialists began assisting their Russian counterparts in troubleshooting the problem, which included obtaining imagery of Progress 82 using cameras aboard the Canadian Arm 2. According to the latest update, the crew has returned to normal space operations and the scientific research. The hatches between Progress 82 and the station are open, and temperatures and pressures are normal. Officials continue to monitor all ISS systems and have not reported any other issues since. This latest leak has postponed the launch of Soyuz MS-23, a replacement spacecraft scheduled to launch on February 19 to replace Soyuz MS-22. This spacecraft would bring NASA's astronaut Frank Rubio and Roscosmos cosmonauts Sergei Prokofiev and Dmitry Petlin, who were delivered by MS-22 mission in October 2022. With this latest development, the launch date of the uncrewed MS-23 spacecraft is now under review. So there still continues to be situations happening aboard our International Space Station. Not there, but nothing too serious, of course. Alright, you're tuned to ASV Radio, VK3EKH, with the regular Friday night cast missions, coming to you from studios in Narrabri South. Will Pluto and Neptune ever collide? Have you ever thought of that? Neptune and Pluto colliding? Well, it's a possibility, but it's not likely. But this is what the article says. I've got a little diagram here to show for those interested. So where are we? There we are. Bring that up. Well, that's interesting. I mean, how would it be if at some point in the future our outer solar system, big planets did eventually collide in some fashion? That'd be interesting. You're tuned to ASV Radio, VK3EKH, brought to you by Astronomical Society of Victoria. Alright, next on the article here, it is 18 minutes to 11, and we are going to something of interest here. Well, I think it's interesting from a radio astronomy point of view. How long is this article? It doesn't seem too long. There's a few juicy words in this one I might trip over. And there is a picture associated with this too, which I'll bring up in a tick. Let me have a glass of water, my special glass of ouzo. Astronomers unravel how complex organic molecules form in deep space. This is a small interest of mine with astronomy, radio astronomy, molecular lines and stuff like that. A friendly molecule called orthobenzene is a key player. Astronomers have found a friendly molecule in deep space. New researchers show how a simple molecule called orthobenzene helps form more complex organic molecules deep inside frigid gas clouds. Nothing like frigid gas clouds. The team says it plays a small but critical role in creating chemically rich building blocks that will, eons later, form young stars and planets. In the last few years, astronomers have discovered a bunch of complex organic molecules in rapid succession inside the dense Taurus molecular cloud, or TMC1. Taurus molecular cloud. And I've got a picture of it here, which I'll bring it up. Where are we? There it is. This is a real big picture. This is not an artist's impression either. At 11 minutes to 11, we are now going to go into this one. No, this one here. Okay. How long was that article? It's not very long. Yep, that's the last article actually, so I can squeeze that in. Alrighty then. A rapidly growing rocket industry called undo decades of work to save the ozone layer. A rapidly growing rocket industry could undo decades of work to save the ozone layer. Rocket emissions in the upper atmosphere can damage the ozone layer. Have you ever wondered that? But they are neither measured or regulated. It's a policy gap we have to close if space industry is to grow sustainably. And I've got a few pictures here to throw in there. The ozone layer is on track to heal within 4 decades, according to a recent UN report. But the progress could be undone by an upsurge in rocket launches expected during the same period. The ozone layer protects life on Earth from the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays. Destruction of the ozone layer became a major international issue back in 1985 when the ozone hole was discovered over Antarctica. Thanks to a coordinated global effort, the Montreal Protocol came into effect in 1987, leading to a ban on a class of chemicals called chlorofluorocarbons, you know that one, CFCs, which were used in aerosols and refrigeration. A global crisis was avoided as a result. But the global space industry is growing rapidly, and with an increasing number of annual rocket launches, as we show in our new review, it's a link, the gaseous and particulate rockets emit as they punch through the atmosphere could lead to delays in the ozone layer's recovery, apparently. The launch industry today relies on 4 major fuel types for rocket propulsion: liquid kerosene, cryogenic, hypoglycemic, and solid. The combustion of these fuels means contemporary rockets create a suite of gases and particulate exhaust products, including carbon dioxide, water vapor, black carbon, alumina, reactive chloride, and nitrogen oxides. These products are known to destroy the ozone, or to destroy ozone. In the stratosphere and upper level of the atmosphere, where the protective ozone layer resides, emissions linger for much longer than lower down. Small amounts of an exhaust byproduct can have greater destructive effects in the upper atmosphere than when close to the Earth's surface. A new fuel is methane, which is used in Sorry about that. That's just a noisy, bloody motorcyclist on our road that runs past the property here. Have to deal with that all the time. So, a new fuel is methane, which is used in multiple rocket engines under development by major launch companies. The emissions products of methane are as yet poorly understood. As we outline, rocket emissions in the upper atmosphere can affect the ozone layer but are not regulated. We argue that this policy gap must be filled to ensure sustainable growth in the rocket launch industry and protection of the ozone layer. If it's not one thing, it's another. Charismatic technology, you might think. Well, solid rocket fuel contains a chemical that releases chlorine in the upper atmosphere and destroys ozone. Simple as that. CFCs were banned because they contain chlorine. Fortunately, the number of launches to date is so small that the impacts of the ozone layer are currently insignificant. However, over coming decades, the launch industry is set to expand considerably. Financial estimates indicate that the global space industry could grow to $3.7 trillion by 2040. Rockets have exciting potential to enable industry-level access to near-Earth space and exploration throughout the solar system. This makes them charismatic technology. apparently, and the promise of what the technology can enable drives deep emotional investment. The allure of possibility can get in the way of even discussing how to make rockets achieve their aspirational goals without damage. We have to be able to have clear discussions. And final paragraph. Many communities, rocket launch providers, environmental regulators, atmospheric research scientists and government agencies need to move forward together on an international level. Discussions on how to build test practice operations for sustainability need not be stifling for space industry growth, as potential actions are well within reach. The greatest contribution each community can make, first off, is the collection and sharing of data, vastly important. For example, those who build and launch rockets could estimate emissions during their design work and then measure actual emissions for their launch vehicles. Working with researchers to sample emission plumes in the atmosphere atmosphere would help to develop understanding of the real-world impacts of emissions on the ozone layer. The current lack of these measurements for modern launch vehicles limits the predictive power of atmospheric modelling. Making data easily accessible to researchers is necessary for meaningful progress. To evaluate missions at early stages of rocket development, we also need to accurate models of the impact emissions have on the atmosphere, and this is where coordination between space industry and the ozone research community is essential. Each community holds a complementary puzzle piece, both of which together inform regularly discussion. Creating sustainable rocket launches is going to need a coordination across aerospace companies, scientists and governments, and it is achievable, but we need to start now, and this is our chance to get ahead of the game. So that article was on astronomy.com. Thanks to astronomy.com, because they provide most of the news articles I read here, and that was from astronomy.com. Rapidly growing rocket industry could undo decades of work to save the ozone layer. Alright, now where are we here? Coming up to the solar report. Just a bit of a plug for Mount Burnett. I didn't put the picture there. I took it, but I didn't. What time is it? Where did I put that? It was just an image. It should be just in here. Didn't bring it across. There it is. The Mount Burnett picture I had here. Get it in there. There it is. Alright. This is just a plug for Mount Just a bit of a plug for them. Now, spaceweather.com. What's happening up there? The solar wind is currently at a speed of 486.0 kilometers a second, at a density of 6.22 protons per cubic centimeter. The sun currently has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whoops, didn't want to do that. Hang on, just go back. I clicked on the sun and it opened up a big picture. But what I will do is bring up the sun here. tonight's session. So I hope, apart from the usual audio issue I have at the beginning of the session, which hopefully next week we won't have that problem. We can just kick it straight off at 10 o'clock. But thanks for those up at LMRO or LMDSS watching tonight. I trust you still are, haven't gone to sleep. Yeah, so we'll hopefully see you at the meeting on Monday night. And yep, kick it along. So this is VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria, concluding this Friday night's session on the 17th of February. Thank you for watching, and on YouTube, hopefully next week we'll have the Melbourne television repeater, digital HD repeater up and running by this time next week, and we'll be going through Melbourne repeater, and I may, if I can get things together, get something running up on 160, but we'll see. On that note, thank you to, there's a bunch of emails there, I can see that, but thank you everybody for sending us emails tonight. Andrew, Don, Phil, Graham and Ian, and to everybody there on the chat window, Martin, oh okay, yeah, sorry, I should have been paying attention to that. My audio, I keep losing audio on when I change pictures on YouTube. Yes, and that's a bit of a pain because I've been having the slide up there for far too long. Sorry about that. Yeah, everybody else that's joined in: Cassiopeia, g'day Nebs, Kieran, Martin, Kim, and I think that's about it. I guess Remus is still there too. Anyway, thanks guys for joining on the chat window. Apologies for the audio issue on YouTube. We'll get that hopefully sorted next week too. Better. Alright, now we'll open up the frequency for any stations wishing to call in on the net and on the broadcast, and see if there's anybody there. So this is VK3 EKH listening on 3541. Alright, there was a very incredibly weak station just at the end there, but I really just couldn't pick up who that was. I think there was a double at the beginning. VK3GL, VK7JAH, VK3BTV. Was there another station there? Okay, VK3VIN. Who was the other station? Jeez, super bass. Alright, VK3JR. There is another weak station there. It's very, very weak. I really can't hear you. I'll just have one more listen for you. Alright, VK3KIS. Andrew. Alright, we'll go with that list for the time being. VK3GL, VK3EKH, good morning, good evening, Graham.
VK3EKH, very good evening to you there, Frank. Very good evening to everyone else who called up on the check-in session this evening. Generally good signals all around. Band's a bit noisy this evening with a little bit more static than what it was 24 hours ago. Enjoyed the broadcast, listened to the whole lot this evening there, Clint. Special mention to the bloke who drove past on the motorbike. The motorbike was about 20 overnight when he drove down the road. Gee, I tell you what, it must have been very, very loud at your place, even louder on the front row there, that's for sure. Anyway, might have been a chat to you after the callback session tonight. Some interesting articles there this evening once again, and some of them certainly get you going as far as pronunciation is concerned, that is for sure. Anyway, I'll put it back to you there, Clint, and might have a few words later on. VK3 EKH, VK3GL.
Yeah, no worries, Graham. VK3GL, VK3CSJ. and I'm generating a little bit of feedback here, so I'll just turn the monitoring off. I think I'll get rid of the headphones. Whew. Yeah, thanks, Greg. Yeah, the window is open. I've got the AC on, although I think it's just the fan operating at the moment, but the window isn't fully open, but it's open. That noise is just, oh, pardon me. Well, that noise is just one of many vehicles that roar along Cranbourne Road here. It's a really horrible road to live on. I mean, I would love a property like where you are, out there at Bunyip, but I would certainly like to. The dream is to find a country property somewhere, not too far from Melbourne, but a place that's RF quiet, that's a dark sky and noise quiet audio. I would love to be able to sit out on a veranda and all I hear is the wind in the trees and the crickets and the wildlife mating. But anyway, but here in Narre South we just have to put up with the grunge that occurs on Cranbourne Road. It's so chronic. Because we live at the bottom of the hill here, each time these idiots take up the road they have to accelerate to the bulk, and of course that just produces maximum noise. And this part of Cranbourne Road is like a wind tunnel, an audio tunnel of sorts. It funnels the audio, it echoes, reverberates back and forth off through all the houses that run along the hillside here, and it's just shocking. So yeah, it is. Thanks, Graham. And yeah, I guess we can catch up for a little bit afterwards. I went to bed at 4 o'clock last night, so I don't really wish another repeat of that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I'll be getting to bed any earlier tonight. I don't think that'll be happening either. Thanks, Graham. It's Martin, VK7JAH, next, VK3EKH. G'day, Martin.
Down here at the moment, you're on a phone 30 overnight, probably about 50 overnight. Excellent, clear as a bell. And extremely readable, no questions at all. Okay, so thank you very much. This is speaking on 80 and 20 messages on YouTube. Which is your last on the update. You know, to lose all your way and put up a side. Let's have a look at this second one. Let's look at pretty clear down here. We're not as warm as you guys clearly are. Down here it's actually getting towards what you probably consider to be fairly horrible temperatures. But I wasn't going to go out tonight star watching, but I might go out tomorrow night because if the temperature stays the same, it'll probably be very cold out there to be out there with a telescope. So I'll get the cap out and have a look through that. But anyway, good night. Thank you very much. Over to you, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Martin. VK7JH down there in Launceston, VK3CSJ, EKH.